Welcome to 3 Minute History with Mr. Marr. Quick summaries about a range of different history topics. Today we're going back to the time of Weimar and Nazi Germany, and we're looking at the 1923 German hyperinflation. This was one of the key events which helped bring Hitler to prominence, and also ultimately would lead to the Nazis gaining power in Germany. It's important to understand how hyperinflation started. At the end of World War I, Germany was seen to be punished, and it was forced to sign a document known as the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles included many clauses, but two of the key ones were that Germany was required to take the blame for the war starting, and it also therefore as a consequence had to pay reparations, which was the war costs of the countries that had defeated Germany. The reality was, after World War I, all the economies of Europe were struggling, and Germany was no different, except they were also expected to pay other countries' war costs, and they struggled to do so. As a result of this, in January 1923, France and Belgium invaded Germany in the Ruhr area, which was one of Germany's main industrial zones. In the absence of being paid their reparations, they intended to take payment in kind, such as coal or steel or other things that were being produced in the area. This led to a strike where German workers went on strike, and the German government encouraged them to do so, saying that they would continue to pay people's wages who refused to work in the face of these invaders. The problem was how to pay these wages. The Weimar government began printing more money in order to do so, but this led to, first, inflation, which is when prices rise. However, this inflation soon began to spiral out of control, and prices began to rise massively in Germany. This had devastating economic effects within the country. Eventually, Germany was producing 50 trillion notes, giving an indication of just how high prices in Germany went. Unemployment hugely increased as companies went out of business, and ordinary German people couldn't afford to pay their rent or buy food. People would be paid their wages and rush quickly as they could to the shops, because by the time they had done so, the prices would have risen. This was especially problematic for people who were on fixed incomes, such as pensioners, and other people with life savings saw them wiped out, potentially in a matter of a few hours. This was absolutely devastating for the people of Germany. As a result of this, it had substantial political effects. Understandably, many Germans became angry at their government, and through this, they began to move towards the extremes, whether on the far left or the far right. Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party was one group which sought to exploit the anger. Hitler in November 1923, no accident being that this was at the height of hyperinflation, led a violent attempt to overthrow firstly the Bavarian government and then eventually the whole of the German government. Given this political pressure, it was essential that the Weimar government found a way to end hyperinflation, and ultimately November 1923 saw the steps taken. A new currency was introduced in Germany known as the Rentenmark. This declared the other currency worthless and knocked 12 zeros off any prices. This new currency proved very stable, and the following year a new Reichsmark was introduced at the same value as the Rentenmark. For now at least, German economic crisis was over.